the topic of this discussion was basically, would a man make more money if he was single rather than if he was married or I'm assuming married, but had a partner? Now that's interesting. I would like to believe that when I have a wife, when I eventually get a wife, because I want to be married, of course, but would you? I would think that my wife would play a role in helping me grow even greater than I already am. But some people say that if they just didn't have it and didn't have to worry about it, they could grow even more without them. So let's see what their conversation was talking about and see what some of these people on the channel. So you got Slimmy and all these other people. If you watch Anton, so if, like I said, I'm gonna leave a link to his channel in the description. He's a good dude to watch. Said some crazy things, but hey, um, he talks a lot of serious conversations. But let's get right into it.
Much different, and then we're gonna go into the show. How much different do y'all think that a man's life will be if he didn't really have women in it?
Well, it depends, because some dudes will crash out and go freaking shoot up this local high school and didn't have no women. So that's
maybe not. Let me revise that, because I don't want to say have no women, but just completely remove the idea of ever focusing on a woman, never get married, never having kids, never, just 100% being able to just focus on 100% of whatever it is that you want to do.
I'll give it a number, like 20% more money in the bank. Whatever
you said, 20% more money in the bank?
Whatever you got, 20 more percent.
It's a double-edged sword, because I know I'll be astronomically more great, but at the same time, like, what would I have motivation for? Like, because women really be the motivation behind you getting a lot of money sometimes, most of the time. So I don't know, like, sometimes like the motivation lacks when a woman not in the equation. So, but I know I'll be greater without one, but for how long?
What do you mean for how long?
Because, like,
I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't get boxed, but it just means that everything will probably maybe be more transactional, I guess.
Oh well, yeah, it'll be astronomical then. Like, it won't be.
I could say, as of today specifically, I'd have like $150 more in my bank account.
150.
I didn't worry about women.
You bought some pussy today? Why such a specific number?
I bought some shit that was $150 for a bitch today. That's my shit.
Now, he said one thing that Q Diddy. I see. I don't never understand why his nickname is Q Diddy, but it's crazy. But he said 20% more. He thinks that he would be, if he didn't have to worry about a woman. I'm just thinking of a wife. They talking about just any kind of woman, but I'm not. That's not my type of thing. But 20% more money if you didn't have to. See, I just like to think that two people working towards a goal of, say, if your goal is to get an extravagant lifestyle, or just have a good lifestyle, two people working towards that goal is always better than one. Yes, you're spending more money because you're together. You're gonna have to spend more on expenses and stuff like that. But I think it offsets with her help, or with the woman or man. You can whatever you like to. I don't want to. Whoever your partner is, I think y'all two working towards the goal will get y'all to greater heights than you working towards the goal on your own. At least that's my thinking. Now tell me your thoughts. Do you think that if you're alone and single, you'll make more money than if you was together with a partner working towards a certain goal? Would you get it easier and make more if you're by yourself? Or would it be easier with a partner and you get it and make it even greater? I don't know. Now, that's my, like I said, my thoughts are that working with a partner, working with someone who I'm trying to build a life with and go to the next level, us working together is better than me working alone. Now, some men, like they said, they think that they'll be even richer. I think that coming from the point of expenses, yes, it's less expensive to be by yourself than than being with a partner. That makes obvious sense to me as an engineer, as just looking at the numbers. Yes, that makes sense to me. But if you're working, I think working towards a goal with someone is better than being by yourself. Well, let's see. Two are better than one because they have a good reward for the. Yes, that's a great Bible quote. Yes. That. Look towards the Bible for answers. There you go. Let's keep going into this video. We're not gonna watch this whole thing because it's 30 minutes, but we'll see what everybody was thinking. So we like to get the main thing with these types of talks is getting everyone's perspective. You can't just look at your own perspective. You need to take in everybody else's opinions and thoughts. You don't have to change your own because of them, but you need to understand what they're thinking. And then see, maybe your thinking might change because you heard other people's opinions. But let's keep going into it.
Jeez,
Oh, man.
At $150.
Slimmy, what are your thoughts on that?
Shoot, man. I mean, I feel like when I'm not worried about a woman, that's when I get the most done. Like it's most of the time when I get distracted is when I start deep diving into shit with women. Like when I'm in my zone and I ain't thinking about none of that shit, that's when I get back into my creative bag. Everything just start flowing. Once you let a woman in that realm, though, man, that shit kind of fuck up the algorithm. Like,
man.
that shit fucked everything up. You just thrown all the way to fuck off. Like, that's why I kind of just try to stay on a certain path because I know what happens once I deviate from that shit. You let other energy around you. You let too much energy around you, and that shit fucks up whatever you got going on. And I think that's why a lot of women be fucked up because they be fucking with people that fuck their whole shit up that they're not even supposed to be dealing with. And then he's inside you, so that's 10 times crazier.
It's crazy because like I look at women like to a purposeful dude. I feel like I don't care what woman you are, like you you are an anchor. Like this dude could be running faster, but like he has to explain stuff to you.
Right.
And that's like very hindering. Like Barack Obama. Like he had to explain, like, no, seriously.
You're right. No, you're right. I'm feeling you.
He had to explain to Michelle why that's the first person he had to explain it to. And then you got to get your wife on board. It's kind of like she hoping you fail the whole time.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, I don't like to think that helping you fail the whole time. Yes, you need to talk to it. Yes, if you have a wife, you talk to her about your goals and aspirations. And my thinking is that you would talk about it and you would both decide on what each of you need to do to accomplish it. I do believe that the man should drive the ship and the woman should be right there next to him, giving her support. And the man always talks to the woman, taking her opinions in mind, listening to her, heeding her advice. But it's let's keep going.
I think he was with the ops.
yeah, no, that man, a lot of people, bro. Every time I hear a woman congratulate their man, they always say he didn't even listen to me, and he was being great. Like they were like, and there was times where he didn't listen to me. Like had he listened to her, like we wouldn't even be acknowledging this man right now. Every time I hear a woman award they man, they say, and he went against what I said and made it work. Like so, like the first person, the hardest person you got to prove shit to is your significant other, man, when you're in a relationship.
Mm.
And it's crazy.
Migo, how much different do you think that a woman's life? And again, I don't want y'all to necessarily, y'all don't have to necessarily refer it back to y'all in particular, but just in general, right? How much different do you think that most women's lives would be if they wasn't so focused on men in particular?
On one hand, it would sound like fun, but then on the other hand, that means to have fun, we have to hang out with other women, and we don't really like that. So it's kind of 50-50. I think most women will probably say, oh, not having kids. But then you would get to a point where you would want them for the most part. So I think it's different. I think it's different for you guys because y'all like being go-getters. Like we like being around people. We like being around somebody. I think it'll be 50-50 because we don't like being alone all the time.
Kim, what do you think about that? Same question to you.
I agree with some of what Mika said. I think that because women are nurturers, we kind of want something to nurture, whether that's a relationship or children. But I've seen too many just that are completely destroyed by the men that they have in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to take that into account too.
That's a thing for both. I think if the wrong woman or the wrong man is in your life, yes, it will absolutely take you off of your purpose and ruin what you was trying to do. But at the same point, I think if you find the right woman or right man who to be in your life, you'll be able to thrive even greater. At least that's my thinking. That's my thinking.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's, the women who are beaten up, and so on and so forth. So I think that you have some that would be happier, but they wouldn't know it. And then others that would just be missing a part of who they were probably meant to be.
Carrie, thoughts?
I think that a lot of it also depends on what stage of the woman's life it is. I think that, which is why I agree with what Kim and Mika said. I think that there's a certain point in time where it will be like, this is great. This is fun. Like I'm doing whatever I want to do. I'm focused on whatever I want to focus on. But I do think there will be a point in time where you're like, like I need more to this. There's got to be more to this story. And then there's women who it's just not in the car. Like they do fine, kind of going it solo. So you always have those. But I think in general, women would get to a point where it's like, yeah, I need somebody.
I'm gonna ask Molly when she gets back. All right, so all right, Molly, what do you think about that? How much different do you think that women's lives would be if they wasn't so focused on guys? Most women.
I think it probably wouldn't be so bitter. I don't think women would be so bitter if they kind of focused a little bit less on men, because I think some women are so wrapped up into men and the idea of men or what they could be. And sometimes it makes us a little disillusioned when we don't get that fairy tale. And then I think that's when we get the feminists and the cat ladies. So I think women should kind of focus more so on themselves and hobbies and being productive.
All
That's
right.
honestly how I feel about it.
All right. Let me
Now, we've gotten everybody. What?
flip the question now.
We gotten everybody's perspective. Like I'm saying, I think the main thing is there are times when the wrong person is in your life and it will ruin you. And there are times when the right person is in your life and it will ruin you. The main thing is finding that right person. Now, do I think that being single, you'll be able to thrive greater? I think. Let me take a sip. If I being single, yes, you will be able to sometimes. See, it's the question is hard to think about. I if you're single and you're moving towards a goal, it's I will say it's easier because you only have to worry about your own perspective. You don't have to make sure that your partner is moving the same way and moving towards the same goal as you. But I think eventually that when everyone is on the same page, moving towards the same goal, it makes moving towards that goal easier, and it makes you be able to rise to greater heights because you also have someone who is in your corner. But also, yeah, tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts. What are you thinking? Um, it's a lot of things to think about. But all right, everybody, remember this is AC Reviews the Word. Remember to like and subscribe.